of the United States.
No, y'all want to know what Disney said? Disney said, nah, we feeling these numbers hitting, so we better give this man his job back. And y'all think that people are still going to subscribe to Disney after that? Nah.
Well, would you look at that? Jimmy Kimmel is coming back on the air tomorrow night, and all it took was 5 days of intense public pressure and about $4 billion lost. For those boneheaded execs over at Disney, over at ABC, ESPN, Hulu, wherever, to finally use those brains that apparently are worth the salaries they're being paid to make a common sense decision. Jimmy Kimmel said nothing wrong, and he's not going anywhere.
MAGA supporters are furious, and I mean real furious, that Jimmy Kimmel is back on TV. Hello guys, welcome back. Now, after weeks of boycotts, threats, and even entire TV networks refusing to air his show, Disney made a bold move and reinstated Jimmy Kimmel live. Now, this comeback hasn't just triggered outrage, it's ignited a fresh wave of anger from conservatives who thought they had already won this battle. And the timing could not be more dramatic, because the same people who celebrated Kimmel's suspension are now demanding Disney face the consequences for bringing him back. So today we're unpacking the full story, how one late night joke turned into a national-wide culture war, why Disney caved to pressure, and why MAGA feels completely betrayed. And trust me, the details here say a lot about where the media war in America is heading. But before that, let's take a look at how people are reacting, what they have to say about this. Then I'll be back and we can talk about it. Let's dive in.
You mean to tell me that all Disney did was temporarily pull Jimmy Kimmel off the air so he wouldn't continue running his mouth about Charlie Kirk and doubling down on it, and a week later he's back? Come on now, who got to you? Disney spokesperson said, "We felt that some of the comments made were ill-timed and insensitive." Well, no shit. But his ratings were down, his ratings are down, and his show is not making money. It's costing money. But you justifiably put him back on the air? Again, who got to you? See, there's other affiliates who also pulled the plug on Jimmy Kimmel. He won't be going back on the air there. Is it because Disney lost so many subscriptions in the last week? Is that what did it? That has to be it.
I know some people are upset that Jimmy Kimmel is back on air. However, just know, you guys still have the power. We don't have to watch his show. Just like how the Colbert Show was canceled, not because of cancellation of freedom of speech. It was because he was losing money for the network. So do the same thing for Jimmy Kimmel. Don't dial in, don't watch his crap, and make ABC lose money for having him on the air, and then they will can him permanently. So there's no need to get upset. We already knew that ABC was trapped. That's why they had to pay $15 million to President Trump, because they let people like George Stephanopoulos go on TV and lie straight to the viewer's face. So can we really expect anything more from ABC? And we already know Disney went woke. That's why Disney is failing. Most recent was success with Lilo and Stitch. But overall, ever since Disney went woke, they're not doing that great. So don't get upset. It is what it is. That's what we have to expect out of these woke companies. But just know, I have a gut feeling Jimmy Kimmel is going to be like Stephen Colbert. Irrelevant, just like Don Lemon. And truth be told, all the social media content creators, they're outbeating what Jimmy Kimmel brings in viewership. So it's working. Don't get upset. Be excited in the fact that you just continue to see who is actually for the American people and who's not.
Oh, so Jimmy Kimmel is coming back, baby. Disney has caved and he'll be back on Tuesday. I guess all of the money got to them. The people's money, that is. Now, I just did a video and told y'all that I've been trying to cancel my Disney Plus, ESPN, Hulu combo for days, and I have not been able to. But I know a lot of people have been able to. Been canceling Disney cruises, weddings at Disney, all things Disney up and down ABC. If it has anything to do with it, people have been saying no, ma'am, Pam. And apparently they decided to listen to the people instead of caving to the government. Which is interesting because Disney, y'all gave us so much as children in order that you would teach us not to bend to bullies. Can somebody roll a clip of A Bug's Life? What were we being taught there? The Lion King standing up to the bully who murdered a father. Pocahontas. The Little Mermaid. Like, you literally have taught us no. And then when you decided to go inside with the bully, you thought we was going to stand with you? That wasn't going to happen. There's movement in our money.
Hey everybody, MAGA is totally melting down over the return of Jimmy Kimmel. What is really interesting here is how the script has flipped in less than a day, and now MAGA is calling for a boycott. They're calling for a boycott of Disney. They're calling for a boycott of local television stations. They're saying, quote unquote, via X, if my local TV station airs Jimmy Kimmel, I will boycott the local advertisers. Okay, now we've talked about this. The local boycott, advertiser boycotts aren't the most effective way to come after Disney or TV stations. I wrote a story about it. If you want to go look it up, you can. The thing is here, Jimmy Kimmel's coming back is great. It's great for free speech. I don't care if you're left, right, or middle. If you care about free speech, you're happy Jimmy Kimmel's coming back on the air. Because the government should not be able to tell anyone what to do or say, or pressure anybody off the air, or silence anyone for an opinion that they disagree with. And by the way, Jimmy Kimmel did not say anything about Charlie Kirk. He did not say anything about Charlie Kirk, how Charlie Kirk died. He made a point about political affiliation. And you know, we need to stop making these points about political affiliation of shooters, because shooters often have a confused and muddled ideology at best. So playing these I gotcha games on one side or the other ignores the real issue about violence and political violence. So let's cut that out. But the big thing is MAGA is losing its stuff because Dear Leader told them that Jimmy Kimmel was gone and they were all celebrating. And tomorrow night at 11:30, Jimmy Kimmel will be back on the air.
Now, let's really talk about what's happening here. First of all, Jimmy Kimmel didn't even go after Charlie Clark directly. And what he did was make a comment about Donald Trump's response when he was asked about his late friend. But somehow that single remark was blown out of proportion and used as justification to suspend him. And when Disney pulled Kimmel off the air, it backfired. And here's what's key. Not everyone who boycotted Disney was even a Jimmy Kimmel fan. And many of them joined in because they saw something bigger at stake, which is free speech. And if a comedian can lose his platform over a passing comment about a politician, then what does that say about freedom of expression in America? And for Americans, this wasn't just about liking Kimmel. It was about stopping corporations from silencing voices whenever there's political pressure. And that is why the boycotts gained momentum. Fans, celebrities, and everyday people spoke out. And not because they agreed with every joke Kimmel ever told, but because they understood that once you start canceling comedians for political reasons, you set a dangerous precedent. And Disney felt that pressure. Advertisers weren't happy. Viewers were speaking with their wallets. And the backlash made them look really weak. And in the end, the cost of keeping Kimmel off the air was simply too high. And that is why they brought him back. And it's not out of some noble defense of comedy, but because the boycotts forced their hand. And of course, that decision reignited anger on the other side. The same people who cheered his suspension are now furious that he is back. But this whole situation reveals and shows just how fragile the balance between entertainment, politics, and corporate power really is. And if a single joke can cause this much chaos, where networks suspend shows, then Americans are at a point where comedy itself is under threat. Because what performer is going to feel free to speak their mind if they know a single remark could lead to suspension? So yes, MAGA is angry that Kimmel is back, but the real story isn't just about him. It's about the fight over free speech, the role of corporations like Disney in deciding what can and can't be said, and what this means for the future of comedy and media in America. So guys, with that said, let's have this conversation in the comments. Drop your thoughts. I want to hear from you. I want to listen to your perspectives. And before you go, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Stay blessed and have a good day.